Happy Easter, everyone. My name is Craig. Thanks for the ad. I own an 84 RZ350 Kenny Roberts replica. I've owned it since 1998. Bought it when I was in the Air Force station down in Biloxi, Mississippi. The guy I bought it from lived over in Georgia. And I'm the fourth owner. And the bike had been sitting for some time. I've been deployed a lot when I was in the military, and I had a pretty bad high side wreck on my street triple about 3 years ago in North Georgia, and that took me about 8 months to recover from. So the RZ had sat for a while and hadn't been run. And here recently I actually contemplated selling it, but through the process of cleaning it and getting it running again, I've changed my mind. Come to my senses, right? And it's not one of those RZs that's had everything done to it in the world. It's numbers matching, and right now it really has kind of period correct mods on it in addition to a little bit of porting work. And I'll show it to you here in just a second. But another reason I decided to keep it is the guy I bought it from, as I said, the fourth owner. I had information on all the previous owners, copies of the original title, in fact, title reassignments, and some other provenance. I've got like some old magazine articles and bike report information, that sort of stuff. Old Spec 2 catalogs, that kind of thing. And, at the time when I first bought the bike, a lot of people weren't really using the internet, so to speak, like we are now. But I happened to dig all that paperwork out, and I thought, it's pretty easy to find people these days. And I was able to run down all the previous owners, to include the original owner, who lives in Charlotte and who is 83 years old. And he was quite the character, still pretty sharp at 83. And he bought it new in 85 as a leftover 84. And come to find out, he also had owned an RZ500. And he said he and his son used to go out riding, and primarily his son would ride the 350 and he'd ride the 500. And I'll tell you, I'm glad I changed my mind, because these RZs are they're just cool. I mean, there's just no getting around it. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. I apologize for that sound if you guys were hearing that. I'm a home brewer, brew my own beer, and I've got a yeast starter on a stir plate. That's what that sloshing sound was that you heard a minute ago. But here's the RZ. It has the all-speed long can chambers on it. I did have Jolly Motos on it, which are a great pipe. You can see it's got a dent in it right there. I've got actually a couple of dents. They actually don't fit the bike real well. They hit the spring land for the side stand, and in one other place. Can't use the chin cowl with them either, but those have been jet hot coated. And as I said, they're a great pipe, but I really prefer these for street riding. I mean, they've really got a nice mid-range hit. Like from 6 to 10. Not really doing much after 10 with these pipes on it. But I recently recoated those. I used some PJ1 high heat exhaust paint, and then actually ended up doing some follow-up coats with some barbecue grill paint, and I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. It's kind of got a semi-gloss to it, and but I mean, overall it's in really good shape. It was in really good shape when I bought it. Original wheels, brakes, has all the period correct stuff, fork brace, steering damper, course, I got the chambers on there. It's got the Toomey 2-in-1 intake, and I'm running the Toomey jet kit, so I think right now it's got the 420 mains in it. With the Toomey needles, I think the clip's in the middle position, and I'm running 25 pilots. And I got it running, and it's running really good. I do have some issues though. Pretty sure the left-hand float needle is leaking noticeably, you know, when it's on petcock's on prime. And that cylinder does seem to run a little bit different than the right side, although I haven't really fine-tuned the air screws and synchronized the carbs yet. I'm trying to find my adapters that I had made several years ago. I may have to make a new set. But really the only flaws this bike has, I got a little crack there on the seat cowl. I don't even remember how it happened, honestly. It's been like that for a while. It wasn't like that when I bought it, so it's obviously something that I've done. And all I did was I put some epoxy on the inside there just to keep it from spreading. And then here on the tank, got a little bit of damage there from gas that had leaked out. It was actually from when I had the tank off of the bike and I didn't have it sitting correctly. But I have a aftermarket water temp gauge. My thermosensor went out and I wasn't gonna pay what Yamaha wanted for a new one. The gauge still works. I shot it, it troubleshooted good. But I mean, this was like 40 bucks, I think, when I got it, and it came with a thermosensor. So it's nice to actually see what the exact water temperature is. But yeah, all original gauge cluster, handlebars, mirrors, turn signal, switches. These aren't the original grips, obviously. I actually do have those in this box over here. I got the air box center stand. I've got all the plumbing and boxes for the catalyzer exhaust, but I don't have the catalyzer exhaust anymore. I think I sold them at some point. And the master cylinder has had some leakage, as you can see. So I'm probably gonna go ahead and get a rebuild kit, go ahead and take it off, strip it, and refinish it. And get some new internals in there and get some fresh fluid in the brakes. May even go ahead and break the, I've got brand new pistons for the front calipers. And I believe I have seals too, so I might just go ahead and refurbish those if I'm gonna go through all that trouble. But I do have noticed my the union joint on the power valves is leaking just a little bit. So I may address that as well. But electronically, after having it sit for a while, the only issues I had was this horn, this right horn wasn't working. The turn signals weren't flashing and the rear brake lights wouldn't come on. And thankfully it was just a little bit of corrosion. Just cleaning it with some, those items with some deoxit did the trick. Took the flasher relay apart and cleaned the contacts and the spade terminals, and turn signal flashers are working now. The horn though, on these, since the halves are pretty much riveted together, what I did on the bottom side, I don't know if you'll see it, I drilled that small hole right there, and just big enough to fit the nozzle from deoxit in there. And I filled it about half full with that and just let it sit for a day, and then let it drain, blew some compressed air in there and let it sit for a day and reinstall it. Works like a champ. So, but overall it's really clean. I mean, even having the original wheels, forks, forks have progressive springs and some spacers. They still hold air. I think I've got about 6 PSI in them right now. And I have a Fox twin clicker shock on there too. but never really had a need to go crazy with the motor or, you know, get rear sets, put different front ends and swing arms on it and all that good stuff. I wanted to try to keep it original to the extent that most people kept them, you know, and just have your standard, you know, fork brace, chambers, rejetted, you know, that kind of stuff. I do have a slotted timing plate, and I think I'm running 2 degrees advance on it right now. And like I said, it runs really good. Really happy with how it cleaned up and how those pipes turned out. I haven't decided what I want to do with the Jolly Motos. I'll probably hold on to them. I got to get my fixtures out that you can put on those pipes and fill them with compressed air and do the torch trick to get those dents out. I'll probably do that and get those cleaned up. They're pretty trick pipes though. I've got carbon fiber silencers. I've also got a set of stainless ones that are still new in the package, never even been out of the box. But anyway, got the chin cowl, it's over there. Just don't have it on the bike at the moment. And but anyway, that's what I have. Just wanted to say thanks for the ad again. Pretty cool site. I've perused it a little bit, but plan on doing much more of that. A lot of information sharing there, which is great. Anyhow, happy Easter, everybody. Cheers.